Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 140. It is Wednesday today. Very rainy and gray here in Cincinnati, a little warmer than it's been. But one of those mornings where we weren't sure what the temperature would be, and so a lot of the schools closed, and everything just feels a little off, a little bit off the normal routine. But yeah. So I have been sitting with this experience I felt watching a movie last night with my husband. We watched Secretariat, and it's about the horse, the famous horse that won the Triple Crown. Oh my goodness, I believe it was in the 70s. And I just keep coming back to the relationship between the horse owner, her name was Penny, and I believe it was Penny, and the horse itself. And that's what I would like to explore or sort of discuss a little bit in today's podcast. And I'm titling it Experiencing the Best. So, quick background on the story. And first, I live close to the horse park in Kentucky. It's about 2 hours away. And when my daughter was little, we went down there. My husband at the time and I took her down, and we spent the day exploring all of the museum spaces and the farms. And there's a huge statue of the horse in, I believe it's real size. It's enormous, in motion, and it's just incredible. So I've had this knowing of the power of the story of Secretariat for a long time, and seeing it in the movie just made it larger than life. It was so inspiring to see the story of this amazing horse and how the whole thing unfolded. So basically, this woman inherited the farm from her father and her mother when they both passed, and the horse came with it, and she decided to invest in this horse because she saw the strength and the possibility of what it could be. And she expected the best, which is what I'm going to title this podcast. So she believed in this horse enough that she put all of her time and attention and focus on it, and then called in strong arming, called in a whole team of people who invested with her. And her belief was so powerful that this horse could be a Triple Crown winner that she caught everybody else up in the excitement and carried them along with her. She had a way of communicating with the horse that they tried to show in the movie, and I don't know that they were fully able to capture it. But it was so beautiful to see how she and this horse communicated, and she understood the potential of what it could become, and then she created everything that needed to happen in that horse's journey so it could have that expression of its speed and its strength and its focus and power. She was such an advocate for this beautiful horse and such a beautiful caretaker of it. So in the movie, she takes the horse to the first race where they're going to sort of test it out before the Triple Crown series begins. They're going to kind of test it out, and the horse failed. It did not do well at all. And so her investors are angry, and the crowds are upset, and she's disappointed, and she's yelling at the trainer and the jockey. And then there's this moment where they bring in someone to check the horse out, and they realize that the horse has an abscess in its tooth. And so it's had an infection the whole time it's been trying to run this really difficult race and compete. It's had an infection in its mouth, and so it hasn't been able to perform at its full speed. So they treat the horse, and of course, as everyone knows, it goes on to win all 3 of the next races and becomes the fastest Triple Crown speed horse racer, whatever you want to call it. It has become legendary what this horse had the ability to do when it was fully competing. So I bring that story forward for several reasons. One is to show the power of energy and love and communication in ways that we don't always understand in our physical 3D world. So we believe that, and this is a general statement, we believe that what we can see and feel right in front of us must be real, and we put our money and our time and our investment into the things that we believe can predict an outcome that, is traditional, or that what the world has proven will bring us whatever that outcome is. What the story of Secretariat shows us is there's this other whole level of communication and connection. There's another whole level of seeing. And this woman saw what this horse wanted to do here in this lifetime, what it could bring forward as inspiration for humans. The absolute unique individuality of that one horse, and so her ability to see that and hold that space, that container, for the horse to have everything it needed in order to reach its fullest capacity. She believed in that horse. She expected the best of that horse, and then she listened to what the horse was communicating about what it needed. And then she provided all of that for the horse, even when people around her told her she was crazy and that it didn't make sense and that they would rather pay her off and just breed the horse, or, they had all these other expectations. And she knew what she knew, and she held so steady. And then this horse became a legend because she was able to see through the veil, to see something possible that others couldn't perhaps see. Maybe the trainer and the jockey and the caretaker of the horse, this beautiful man who would sing these songs and clean the horse and just love the horse. They said that this person, I can't remember his name now, but he stayed with the horse the whole life of the horse. He was always by its side. So there are those who supported her, but the majority of the people didn't believe what she saw. So the first reason I bring it forward is, we all, as souls in human form, we have intuition. We have an ability to sense or see things that are not tangible right in front of us. And many of us have grown up doubting ourselves or discrediting what our intuition says or guides us towards. There were many moments where this woman, Penny, she could have given up. And she could have said, "You're right, everybody's right. I'm just going to walk away and just let this horse be small." And she trusted her intuition so powerfully that it carried her. It just carried her. And then that intuition carried her horse. So I'm inspired to bring that forward to encourage all of us. We have knowings, we have nudges, little intuitive moments where the veil moves to the side and we're like, oh yeah, I see it. I see it all. I see the potential. I see the possibility. I know that could happen. And then many times we close that veil back down again. We close the curtain over what we saw. So perhaps if you need inspiration, watch the movie Secretariat and allow her example to inspire you even more to trust your intuition. The second was the word integrity. Like this woman Penny, she didn't play games. She was in a man's world, in a place where, everyone was strutting their stuff and being derogatory about the newcomer, the newbie, the female, the housewife, they called her. There was a lot of opportunity for her to play the game back or to be out of integrity with herself in the way that she showed up. And she didn't. She still showed up in her beautiful dresses with her hair done, very feminine, trusting herself, not slamming anybody, just gently laughing at the humor of all of it. And she just walked with her head held so high as she endured whatever the others around her were laughing or ridiculing her for. She just stayed in this beautiful, steady integrity with who she was and how she saw the horse. And that, I guess I would almost call it like a light, like that light that she held in herself was so pure and so unattached to what anybody else thought or expected, that it just radiated from her. I think sometimes when we expect the best of others and then perhaps they aren't able to see that for themselves. This horse knew it was going to be a Triple Crown winner and it was going to break every record. It knew that. Sometimes in our human journeys, when we see the best in someone else, they don't fully believe it yet. They don't believe that they are capable of the things that we see for them. And so their fear, perhaps, or their doubt in themselves, they'll throw those projections at us. And, as intuitive people, as those who are seen through the veil, or holding the highest possibility for the people around us, when someone projects their fear at us, we take it in as ours. We believe perhaps that, it's our stuff and we must be wrong. And so we shut down the intuition. But then we also step out of integrity with who we are. We get smaller. We doubt ourselves. We start to step into the game playing of, throwing fear around, or I don't know if that's quite making sense. It's easier to see with humans and animals than it is perhaps with humans and humans. But I feel this, it's like this possibility for us to deepen always into our own integrity, to be able to stand really clearly in our light and say to those around us when they're in their fear, I see your fear and it's not true. Here's how I see you. Here's how I know the best of you when it's expressed, how it can look, how it can come through, what it can create. And so when we stand in our own integrity, instead of backing down or stepping into the fear that others have, we can hold that light steadier. It's like we can see the best and hold the best, and it's okay if people aren't ready to step into that. There's every chance that this woman Penny could have put every dollar into the horse, and the horse perhaps just couldn't have done it. That doesn't mean that she was out of integrity or that she didn't see what was true in that horse. It means she was so in integrity with herself that she created every possibility for that horse to have the experience it came here to have. And then it was up to the horse, right? Secretariat delivered. I mean, oh my goodness, how do I not know? I don't know if it was a boy or a girl horse. I just kept saying Secretariat. The horse ran and loved it. I remember the trainer in the video, in the movie, said this horse was born to race, to run. It will run no matter what. I believe many times we see the potential in those around us, with such love and such clarity. And it's up to them if they're able to see that for themselves and then step into it and run, race and enjoy the race. Like, that's up to them. But our work is to expect the best. To expect the best, to hold space for the best, to provide room and resources and tools for those around us to be their best. And then not make it about us, not make it personal if they're not ready for that yet. Just love them anyway. Love them anyway, and give room for them to run, to race. And then to make sure we're running our race too, to make sure we're stepping into our best also. to expect the best of ourselves as well. It was a beautiful, beautiful movie, and there's so much to learn from the story of this woman and her horse and all that was written down in the record books because of her faith and her belief in Secretariat. So perhaps the invitation this week is find some time to watch the movie and come up with your own conclusions. Oh, it was good. It was good.
Thank you for tuning in to today's vibration. Let's take this message of pure love out into all of our communities and continue expanding love here on Gaia. So much love from my heart to yours.